you very much for coming on this cold, windy night. It's fabulous to see you. Before we get on to the really exciting business of the AGM and the more exciting business of the question time panellists, could I please ask you to spare us a minute for a man who was fabulous for Haywards Heath? And that would be the one and only Mr. John DeMere. Lead the clap. The Business Association owes him a lot. Because when we started in again for, what was it, the third time, Brian? Where's Brian? There he is. Third time. He was one of the bods who stepped up and came in onto the committee and took that wonderful chalice of being the chair. And by his humour and good wit, allowed us to sort of find our way forward.
He was involved the first time as well. And
in the first time. Great. Fabulous. So a real good man for Haywards Heath. So thank you for that. Now on to more pressing business of the AGM. This AGM is a very short and sharp one, and it's just a quick review of what has been going on. First of all, can I really thank NatWest and Dominic and his team over there for actually sponsoring tonight, hugely supportive of business in the town, and I love their banner, Ahead for Business, so it's got a lovely pun for it, so that's great. Also, thank you to the numerous people who've been stuffing the goodie bags. I mean, there are all manner of treats in those bags, ranging from chocolates to calendars to pens to post-it notes to this, that and the other. And this is one way that we can actually help the Business Association help each other. So absolutely delighted that you'll go away laden with a goodie bag. And of course, tonight would not have been possible without the superb organisation of our lovely Sue Llewellyn, who has been marshalling, oh there she is hiding, has been marshalling our intern support, and we're very lucky to have intern number 1, and intern I think number 5, and intern number 7, and we'll talk about that, helping her tonight. And of course our own Eleanor, who's acting as scribe for the evening, because Gary Shipton has volunteered us some space in the Mid-Sussex, which is great, but as ever we will need to write the press release. So Eleanor is going to use her literary skills to good effect. And we also have the lovely Gina at the back taking photographs of just when you don't want a photograph taken. There she is. So watch the MIDI for next week. So without further ado, let's go on. Really delighted to welcome our panel. Pete Bradbury from West Sussex County Council. Our one and only Gary Wall. Rosemary French from the Gatwick Diamond Initiative, not the Gatwick Diamond ex-Cadia thing, as Rosemary will be fast to tell you that she is very economical and a passionate driver of the Gatwick Diamond Initiative. And I'm hugely grateful for Mr. Williamson stepping into the breach. Philip Williamson is chair of the Haywards Heath Golf Club, and we're really pleased to be here and again helping members and introducing perhaps people to this lovely venue. But also in a previous incarnation has had a wealth of experience in the world of business, and I'll leave him to perhaps introduce himself a bit later. And we have the most sincere apologies from Dan Thompson, who in this it got me thinking actually, probably about 5-6 years ago, we wouldn't have had a man saying, my children are sick, and my wife has to work this evening, therefore I'm not happy to leave my children with our carer. And I think that it's just a sign of the times, which is a really interesting one, but a fabulous reason for not being there, because who better to take care of children than the father? And unfortunately, Nick Handley, who was coming from Sussex Enterprise, he was ill for the last few days prior to this. He rallied yesterday and said he was going to be coming, and then this morning got another text saying, oh, still not bad, gone back to bed. So we'll miss their input, but I'm sure what you've got here is perhaps quality and, rather than the quantity. We're trying to get a quarterly meeting with our companion business associations in East Grinstead and Burgess Hill, and we compared all sorts of things at our last meeting, and Norman kindly was there as well. And the thing that I did notice is that our fees are the lowest of all of the business associations. So I said to somebody in the audience, we're the cheapest, and they said, you shouldn't say that. More, so added value is what we're hoping to do. So we have got, unlike the other business associations, also a tiering in terms of charging the smaller nano businesses, as I've called them, the under 5 employees, much lower entry fee. And so again, our membership, not unsurprisingly, is quite heavily skewed to smaller businesses. But interesting as we go forward to see how that emerges. So now on to me with the Chairman's report. It's been an interesting year, and a year where I think a lot of things have been consolidated. And one of my key points for the Business Association was that it cannot rely on too few a number of people, and that we really have to spread the workload. And one of the things that we have done is we've got 4 subgroups, a develop group, a communicate group, a connect, and a grow group. And that way, the leaders of those groups can actually take on some of the running of the business and don't always need to come and present back to the committee meeting. So we've tried to also lessen the number of committee meetings that we have, again, to just make sure that the time that's being spent is being spent working to grow the membership, rather than sitting in committee meetings, which we all know are deeply exciting. So some highlights from, first of all, perhaps the Develop group. And we've got a new leader for the Development group, the lovely John Berry, sitting there, ably supported by Stephen Hillier and Lynn Tulip. Lynn sends her apologies tonight. Unfortunately, her father's not well, so she won't be here. But Stephen, Lynn and John have been into all sorts of exciting things. You'll notice in your goodie bag there is a new calendar for 2014, fresh off the press. And this is all of the events scheduled for the whole of 2014. So we may have added extras, there are a couple of blank spots for welcome party meetings, but just the sheer amount of hard work to just get these up and running, and Lindsay's smiling in the background thinking, phew, it's not me anymore. The energy that is required to get this up and running and moving is phenomenal. So huge thanks to John, Stephen and Lynn. And of course, and I have warned you, John, a little bit, we have a new exciting venture, a conference for the 7th of March at Clare Hall, starting at 8:30. The call for speakers is out. There's a website page for it. John, would you like to say just a little bit about it?
Yeah, you've pretty much said what I would have said.
Oh, shocking.
Stephen Hillier, Supery and I were standing in the bar at the Birch, I think probably about 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. And we said, how do we differentiate? How do we do something different in HHDBA? And part of that was to say, I don't know who came up with the idea, but anyway, we ended up with an idea of a conference, a business conference, something of quality, not sales, not partisan, but something which was there to impart knowledge. That was the critical point, because I think we adopted the 3 threads from HHDBA, one of which is, of course, to grow the competency of business in Haywards Heath. And we came up with the idea, let's have a conference. It's gone past the kind of early gestation, it's into the maturing stage, it's on the website. The critical thing at this point is, well, 2 things. 1, sponsors. We're keen to hear from anybody who would like to sponsor. And 2, speakers. For those who have put speaker applications onto the website. Thank you. There will be a group who will go through and look at who will give the best knowledge to the conference. It's the 7th of March, it's in the morning, and I think that's probably enough. Yep, thank you.
Great, thank you. So watch this space for the conference. So something new for 2014. Then of course we have the Communicate group. And with the Communicate group, we have our one and only Mr. Pete Kogel, ably supported by Kareem Mohammed, who is probably wending his way here. I think last heard of, he was at court, not in it, but at court. So we will expect to see him pretty soon. And really, I have to say huge thanks to Pete, because we now have a really dynamic, current, pretty good website where people are beginning to post up. We've got a ticker tape thing going across the top, and Pete is absolutely fantastic in terms of sorting that out. And we have also fallen into a pattern of regular newsletters. So the deadline for newsletters for November is soon? 27. And we're seeing that the newsletters are growing and growing as people are sharing their news with us. So if you're needing to promote any event or want some support or help, please do consider it. So, for example, British Heart, what are they called? Foundation even, have got their lovely jog on Santa, so we're helping them. They're not members, but we're trying to help them. So please, do think about giving us the news. So that is fabulous. And of course, we like to have fun in HHDBA. So Bollywood was a particular success. Mr. Webster was saying that he was going to bring out his ruby for the parts of his anatomy, but we never saw that. We did see Mr. Wall enjoying himself, which was quite good, and people did get up on the dance floor. So, watch this space. I think it's all in the figment of the imagination of Pete and Kareem, and so that's I await with interest to see what comes up next. Okay. And then we have the Connect group. Here, with the Connect group, we've got Neil Tomlinson. Now, Neil has got a classic excuse not to be here. He's in hospital. He was rushed into hospital in Shropshire with an emergency stomach operation, and has posted a selfie, which is not pretty to look at because it's his stomach with staples in it. And but he is ably supported by Rod Clark, and Tony Pearson is the new boy on the block, anxious and willing to come and support and help. Where are you, Tony? You're there. Great. So the Connect group is really about increasing the membership, and Chris, our new intern, who's sitting at the back there, more on Chris a bit later, is going to be deployed to help that group as well. And also, you've been promoting membership offers. So classically, when we were talking to when I say we, I didn't mean we, but Neil and Rod talking to Haywards Heath Golf Club, they actually came up with a package and a deal for us. So again, this is where I think we can add value. It's finding the deals, and so we can share the business around the Haywards Heath area. So promoting membership offers is another part of the Connect group. And then we go on to Grow. Still looking for a leader for Grow. But what comes under the banner of Grow is planning for profit. Now this is a series of workshops which actually help businesses do their business planning. And they're run over a series, I think they're in the calendar, is it 4 times, isn't it, Ron? Is it 4 times? Twice. We've condensed it. We've been playing with different formats, but René Mullen, our prison group, who again sends his apologies for this evening, will actually be leading that. And this is a fabulous time for businesses to actually start to think about how to plan. And this isn't necessarily all about raising money for the bank, sorry guys, but this is about planning for the business. And obviously raising funds is a valuable thing, but whole planning cycle and actually thinking through things very carefully is good. And what we're also wanting to do is to try and encourage some of our larger members to send their bright managers to those workshops. Internship continues to thrive, and we have our own number 7, Chris, sitting quietly in the background there. I promised not to embarrass him too much, but I did have a pun about 007, and maybe this is his first week, isn't it? Second week. Second week, yeah. So you will be hearing more of him, and some of you have already experienced him ringing you up saying, "Oh, you're coming." So we've also been delighted to have Rob Gordon with us, who's helping Cullen Scholefield at the moment while we bridge the fact that we've lost Holly Dunster. And so again, having Rob in the business has been a really useful bridge until Holly's replacement starts in January. So internship and young people is still a thing. The one issue that we still are working on is harnessing grey power. I've been talking to the Rotary and Lions Club to see how we can actually get some relationship between older business people and younger people running in businesses. And so anybody interested in these themes, please put yourself forward. We could do with a leader on that. So that's the Grow Group. Pictures of interns in here. It was quite nice to see that Adam Hayhoe-Smith, who's at Weald now, is smiling away there. And then there's Mike Kogel, some relationship to Pete Kogel, who's at Warden Park and enjoying his job there. And there's the lovely Emily, who's now back at Plumpton College, actually studying to be a florist, because our 2 florist members actually said, "You need to go to college." Surprise, surprise, she listened to them, which is great. So that's a success. And Joe, who's in the room somewhere. Where is Joe? I've lost him. There he is. Hi, Joe. Joe is setting up his own business. So members have been helping him to get his business plan sorted out, his marketing sorted out, and I'm due to have another catch up with him and see how we go. But thank you, Joe, for coming to help today. So that's the grow side. So wrapping up, the message remains constant: going for growth in our membership, in the business we do with each other, and in our expertise. So